Mobile phone parts identification. How to identify parts and components on PCB of mobile phone. Learning how to repair a mobile cell phone. It is important to learn how to identify parts and components on the PCB of a mobile cell phone. Identification of these parts and components is not that difficult. When learning how to repair a mobile cell phone, it is important to learn how to identify parts and components on the PCB of a mobile cell phone. Identification of these parts and components is not that difficult. The PCB of any mobile phone of any brand, namely Nokia, Samsung, Motorola, China mobile phones etc., is divided into two parts, namely 1. Network section, and 2. Power section. When identifying parts, electronic components and ICs on the PCB of a mobile cell phone, it is important to keep these two sections in mind. How to identify parts and components on the PCB of a mobile cell phone. Antenna point. The point where antenna is connected is called antenna point. It is normally located at the top of the PCB of a mobile phone. Network section. The section below antenna point and above power section is called network section. Antenna switch. It is found in the network section. It is made from metal and non-metal. It has 16 pointer legs. In some mobile phones, the antenna switch is merged with PFO. PFO, power frequency oscillator. It is present beside the antenna switch. Network IC. It is below or beside the antenna switch and PFO. In some mobile phones, the network IC is merged with the CPU, e.g., Nokia 1200, 1650, 1208, 1209 etc. Power section. This section is below the network section. Power IC. In the power section, the IC around which there are several brown-colored capacitors is called power IC. In some mobile phones there are two power ICs. CPU, Central Processing Unit. In the power section, the largest IC is the CPU. In some sets there are two CPU. Flash IC. This IC is found beside the CPU. Logic IC. The IC with 20 legs is the logic IC. Charging IC. In the power section, the IC beside R22 is the charging IC. Audio IC. The IC parallel to power IC is the audio IC. NOTES. UEM, Universal Energy Manager, equals logic IC plus charging IC plus audio IC plus power IC. PFO, power frequency oscillator, equals antenna switch plus PFO. Flash IC equals RAM plus flash IC.